I'm very proud of Pitkin County. And one of the things that I think about is in driving the corridor in our valley, you can tell the difference when you cross into Pitkin County. Suddenly there's open space. It's like you've crossed a border. So I hope very much that in 20 years we still have that respect for open space, which to me reflects on our ranching heritage and of course the beautiful vistas for the mountain. People relax right away. It's difficult because our development should be along the corridors in order to be near our transportation hubs and to be near services, especially with what has happened with our pandemic. I realize how important it is for people not to travel too far to be serviced. They need not just grocery stores, but there should be a hardware store. There should be different dry goods and other kinds of supplies that you can do. So that's kind of a conundrum, is how do you keep open space and then still have these hubs for servicing and living and medical? So that is going next to the kinds of buildings we design in communities. I hope very much there's room to do live work spaces, that is very important, and I'd like to see it also combined with communities that welcome everyone from my age. I'm 78, all the way down to families and children and working people. I like the mix, and I hope that I think it can help each other, especially when you live in a community like that. You care for each other, and I help care for the children, and they help care for me. I hope too that somehow in the zoning that it could be allowed to do what we tried in Aspen, but I think was a failure, the accessory dwelling unit. I don't think it has to fail. Something that actually is one reason I went off of planning and zoning is that I was frustrated because they were not required to be occupied. That is a big mistake. They turned into workout rooms and big recreation centers for people, media centers. So I think with what's happening with our growing population and with older people needing and wanting to be near their families, that somehow this could be accomplished. But also I think what you can do is penalize or tax people if they are not occupied. Even if it isn't a family member, somehow that could work. I hear it tossed around, and I think New York City might even be considering this, that you tax, property taxes are already very high in cities like New York, but that there should be some sort of a surtax. If you have a big building or a big apartment and it's never lived in, or it's lived in maybe 4 weeks a year or 3 weeks a year, they're looking into how you can tax that person because they're still being provided with city services. They are a hardship on the community because they're taking away people's living space or working space. So they have an impact even though there's no one inside the apartment. And I would like to see that change somehow. I love in Pitkin County that we have access to our rivers, and that there's such respect for the trail systems, and the trails keep being added. So keep that going. The Rio Grande Trail is an amazing and popular trail, but it concerns me because I've had friends that have been badly injured and almost killed because of the intermingling of the different kinds of people that use the trail. And so I think I like that bike trails are separate from pedestrian trails.
30 seconds.
And, okay, and let's see what else. Invest in technology so that there's good Wi-Fi. I'm so glad to see 5G, I think it's called, happening, and I would like to see that the county be open to more and more of that, because there's going to be telemedicine, there's going to be more education at home and working from home, so we need all the good technology communication we can get. Encourage whole communities. North Star and Cozy Point are so important that nothing should happen to them. For me, they are the bookends of our community. Cozy Point reminds me of our old ranching heritage, so that's something I had wanted to say too, that we encourage and make it possible for organic and local farming. And North Star, don't let it turn into Rockaway Beach. It's a very important wetland, wilderness, coming out of the mountains, and people coming over the pass must just ease into Aspen with that wonderful entry